We can cut a lot of the stuff that I have to say short this time round. It's the same rules. I'll introduce them with a short bio, the candidates with a short bio, and then they've given 3 minutes to give an introductory talk, why you should vote for them. And we'll just whip through that quickly. And then question time. Question from the floor. 30 seconds per question. And 2 minutes per the answer. So let's go ahead and get going. We have our candidates here for the mayorship, the incumbent mayor, Andrew McCracken, and mayor-elect, maybe Jeanette Townsend. And our candidates for council are Peter Fox, Peter Reimer, Owen Targenson, Sandy Salt, and Holly Blanchette. I'm going to ask the councillors to speak first. Sorry. Our first speaker will be Holly Blanchette. Holly is a dedicated and a hard worker. She's practical, honest, and passionate in how she wants to approach and how she would like to approach life, and how she works and approaches life. She has the patience of Job when it's helpful when working in the government, and she wishes all of us in the Valley all the best for today, tomorrow, and in the future. Welcome, Holly.
Good evening. I was in the bakery this morning, and Sylvia gave me some wise words. She said, "Don't worry, Holly, the microphone doesn't pick up your heartbeat." So we're good to go. So I'm running for council again. Why? Why is a good question. It's great to be on the ground floor of positive change, which is where we're heading. Valemount is moving forward, and the last 3 years have been steady growth. I think you'll all agree and see it around you. This is an amazing job, which I love to do. I made the hard decisions, I attended tons and tons of meetings, and I sat on many committees. Not because I had to, but because I wanted to. I'm approachable, I listen, and I want to provide active leadership. Whether it is a project from one of my council committees or one of my own personal committees, I keep moving forward, and Valemount comes with me. I'm involved because I choose to be involved. Marina Treasurer, Crafters Guild Secretary Treasurer, a regular member of our Legion, Chamber of Commerce Director, co-chair of the Healthier Communities Committee, Northern Medical Programs Trust Director, and the Northern Health Council Liaison. These are just a few of the committees that I work on. You want a councillor that will work hard, make the tough decisions, and will always be there to listen and act? That's me. Thank you.
Thank you, Holly. Our next speaker will be Peter Fox. Peter has lived in Valemount since 1990 and has owned his house on 3rd Avenue for 24 years. You might know him as the guy who keeps a small part of 5th Avenue in bloom all summer with a plot to keep the Bigfoot Trail clear of dog crap. Really? A fundraiser for the high school. He cares deeply about the community and feels it's time that folk with mobility challenges and others on fixed income are representative on the council. He believes he brings a range of knowledge, insights, and transferable skills suitable for his council position. He is for economic development and feels it's best achieved when all residents participate. Welcome, Peter.
Thank you, Marion. Madam Moderator and people of Valemount, I'm seeking your vote as one among you who loves this place, who wishes to serve this community by maintaining, steering on a course which will be a direction whereby whereby we realize new employment opportunities, attract new small business startups, while maintaining affordability for new residents and families arriving here to realize their dreams of this place to call home, much as I did. Housing will be an emerging issue for those in the service industries as developments such as Valemount Glacier destinations proceed. I recognize there are and will be increasing parking issues, and I want to ensure sufficient funds are set aside in emergency and for safety infrastructure for an aging population. Those on fixed income and the working poor. I realize keeping costs and taxes under control is important, paramount really, and will ensure continued quality of life for all. Public transportation issues still need to be met and addressed. New recreational activities to enhance lives of youth and active seniors might have affordable common solutions, such as recreational bus trips to Jasper. We're a community that is probably most conducive to having active seniors come here to retire. So I applaud the work of the Citizens Advisory Committee, an important new tool of council, a more inclusive way of community engagement. I'm about keeping Valemount as inviting and inclusive for all as the time I arrived here 24 years ago. And thank you.
Thank you. Cam, I'm so sorry, I forgot to let you have your word. Do you want to wait till the end?
Sure. Yeah.
Okay. Sorry about that. Our next speaker is Peter Reimer. Peter Reimer is Vice President and General Manager of Underwriters Insurance Brokers in Valemount, and he's a notary public. He's offering his time as a counsellor to help guide and build Valemount during the next 4 years. He would like to give back to the community because this community has given a lot to him. He believes he has the professional, business, and personal experience and knowledge to do an excellent job for you. Welcome, Peter Reimer.
We had a question on our VCTV interview about diversity. We have evidence that we are a strong, diverse community in that Marion is chairing this event.
Yes.
I'm not sure what that
Let all doubt be gone forever. Danielle actually said what I wanted to say, so if you remember what she said, I can sit down. However, we work and live in and around the village of Valemount, and a village is a community. This is not the kingdom of Valemount. And the council that will be elected will be there to serve the village and not to lord it over the community. And I offer my professional, business, and personal skills to serve the needs of the community. We can all hope and dream and plan for a brighter, stronger, more vibrant future, but if we do not pay attention and manage the resources that we have today, any hope for a successful future could be lost before we know it. I consider this to be a trust. And as a trustee, I commit to being accountable for the finances and the resources that have been entrusted to us. I know how to manage money and resources to build a successful business. I know how to be part of a team to build a successful business. And just as I have worked hard for the well-being of my business clients, I will work hard for the success of this village, for your success, for your best interests, for your concerns to be addressed and dealt with to the best of my ability. I will use my communication skills and listen to others, to speak politely to others, to mediate and resolve conflict when needed. I will work at solving problems, finding equitable solutions, and make myself available to engage with you, the rest of our community, so that no one feels left out or ignored. I will do this with integrity, honesty, transparency, passion, and compassion. Let's keep Valemount strong.
Thank you. Our next candidate is Sandy Salt. Sandy Salt relocated to Valemount over 8 years ago. Less than 1 year after locating to Valemount, she became very involved with the village, first as a senior administrative staff member and then in the council for the last 3 years. During her time in council this last term, Sandy had been appointed to 13 different boards and committees. She has 32 years' experience in business and corporate administration and accounting. When not busy with all her council obligation, Sandy juggles 3 part-time jobs, her personal life and family obligations. Welcome, Sandy.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for taking the time tonight to show your support for the candidates that have stepped forward to go and run for council again. Why am I running again? Because I had so much strong support from those that have supported me over the last 3 years, encouraged me to run again. And I have much work to do. 3 years has not been enough time. The 4-year term scares a lot of people. And I show that I am ready for challenges because I've accepted the 4-year challenge. And I hope to be given that opportunity to continue doing the work that I've been doing. I've been working very hard, building very strong relationships provincially, regionally, and locally. I'm very approachable. I offer an empathetic ear. I'm available when I'm in town doing my own personal errands. People come up, want to talk, and I say, absolutely. I will listen, and I take your concerns back to the village office and to the council table. I did explain in my bio my vast experience. We don't need to go into that any further. I think it's been well demonstrated. But I do want you to know that I offer care, compassion, and sincerity, knowledge and experience, strong drive, determination, and passion for the success and prosperity of Valemount and its constituents. I embrace technology and alternative thinking, and we heard a lot about maybe embracing some of that technology with the school district trustees. I support economic development and diversification. I envision commercial, exploration, industrial, and tourism growth in our community, and I think we see it's coming. It's been a long 3 years. People are waiting, wondering what's going to happen, but we're just about there, so give us a little more time. As you know, with government, things don't move fast. We try, but it just goes at its pace. I'm dedicated to encourage and support alternative, reliable, and renewable sources of power. As you know, I'm a strong supporter of the geothermal power. Committed to marketing Valemount to both regional and international investors. And again, we hope that that work will pay off in the end. So again, I thank you for coming out tonight and listening to all of us candidates. And I hope to see many of you, if not all of you, at the voting booths. And I ask for your support to give me another term, 4 years as your councillor. Thank you.
Thank you, Sandy. God, they're brave, aren't they? Our last candidate this evening is Owen Torgerson. Torgerson. There's, I've got to learn one good thing a day. The next candidate is Owen Torgerson, born in McBride, the only hospital at the time, grew up just outside of Valemount, graduated VSS, and like some youth left to experience more education and working options. Returning for a short visit, he gained several opportunities to stay in the mountains with the village that he loves, friends, and most of all, his family. Ladies and gentlemen, Owen Torgerson.
Thank you, Madam Moderator. I'm not going to take much more time than that green light's going to give me. I'm not going to say how many committees I sit on or go over synonyms from a thesaurus to say how dedicated I will be to you. I am like you. I'm a community member. I love Valemount. I work here, I live here, and I play here. Council has a responsibility to listen and to learn what the needs and the wants of the community are. Elect me, and you will have a voice on your council. Thank you.
I must get a proper in the middle of that. Torgerson. On my right, your left, we have the two candidates for mayorship. Andrew has moved to the Valley in 2001 to work as a reporter for the Valley Sentinel before co-founding a new independent newspaper. He then worked with VCTV for 3 years before being elected to mayor in 2011. Whether through writing, recording, editorializing, or working on council, he has been part of the political life of this valley for 14 years. He plans on building a new home on 8th Avenue with his lovely wife, Laura Keel. Welcome, Andrew.
Thank you, Madam Moderator. Thanks to the Chamber for putting this on. This is really important, and I'm really delighted to see you all here. Thank you for coming. And as well, thanks to the candidates for running. I'm so pleased that we're having an election. I think it's an important time, a time of change in the life of Valemount, so it's important that we check in. Councillor Blanchette spoke about being on the ground floor of change, and I think that that's so apt. We don't have too much time to talk tonight, so I want to delve right into the topic that I think is on everybody's mind: economic development. It's something we've been working hard on, but I'm not sure that people know that, and I think it's important that you do know what our strategy looks like. So I'm going to go over 5 things that we've been trying to do, and then I'll go back to them and try to give you some detail and tell that we're actually really doing these things. We're not just talking about them. This council has been an advocate for small business. We've been a big supporter. The second way we've been supporting economic development, as we've been supporting our partners on their economic development projects. We have in the room tonight Curtis Polyuk of Varda. Our role is not to do the work that Varda is doing on Crystal Ridge, on their work on promoting snowmobiling and developing the mountain bike park, but it is making space for those things to happen. There are a lot of initiatives that are trying to take off at the same time, and it's important for somebody to sort of run interference with government and try to go ahead and say, these are the priorities of the community. This is what we're hearing from the community. This is where we need to focus. We've also taken a direct approach taken a direct and major role in economic development. And this is a risky one. These are the kind of projects that may or may not happen. But you know what? We try with good intentions in our heart to move these things along. And that's okay. It's okay that we've had major projects in the past that haven't come to bear. We'll try again, because there's some pretty special things that are going on. I'm going to list 3. One is the Valemount Glacier Destination Resort. That's been a lot of work. You can talk to me later about the work that we've been doing to promote that. Geothermal power is another one. Longer term, but hope can wait. One that we've been really working on hard, is the Trans Mountain Pipeline. Working to prepare to make sure that short-term economic stimulation will have long-term impacts for the village. Two more things. One is by being transparent. We try to let you folks know. We do our best to be open to have forum and invite you. You don't always come. My time is up. I'd love to continue speaking with this. Would somebody ask about economic development during the question period? That'd be really helpful. There's one more point to go over. Thank you.
Better ask him the right question later. Our last candidate, because we're going in alphabetical order, is Jeanette Townsend. Jeanette was a Village of Valemount alderman and mayor between 1989 and 2008. She was a director of the Regional District of Fraser-Fort George. She was a founding member of Columbia Basin Trust and a past president and life member of both the North Central Municipal Association and the Canada Yellowhead Highway Association. At UNBC, she's a member of the Advisory Council in 2003. Welcome, Jeanette.
Thank you, Madam Moderator, and thank you also to the Chamber of Commerce for organizing this forum and providing us with the opportunity to meet with the people face to face. I want to speak first of all about my candidacy. To be candid, it was not in my plans, but many people were approaching me, my neighbors, my friends, other residents. They all feel that these are troubled times in Valemount. They asked me to come back, some implored me. I really was not too thoughtful about it at first, but then I did give it careful thought and lots of time, because we came here in the 1980s. My husband was transferred, BC Hydro. He chose to retire here in 1990. He's passed on a few years ago. I chose to remain. So it's not about me, it's about Valemount. It's about those who live here and those who want to continue to live, work, and some raise their families here. I have always operated, still do, from a strict premise of integrity, honesty, accountability, transparency, and shall continue to do so. I have always practiced fiscal prudence, respect for the taxpayer's hard-earned dollar, and we always got the best value for each taxpayer's dollar, always with respect. When I was first elected, the capital assets were $4.5 million. There was a $1 million sewage debt, borrowed in the 1980s at 15% interest, US funds. That was repaid 2 years before the due date, and when I retired, there was a capital asset account of $14 million and no debt, with reserves in every account. I believe, as I said, it's not about me, but we do need a strong mayor who has a reputation of working hard and diligently, and a mayor who has a solid network in Victoria and Ottawa, and a keen interest in the well-being of the Valemount community, one who will restore Valemount to the dignity and respect within the province of British Columbia. Thank you.
Thank you all candidates. As before, this is a debate. It's a chat, not a debate. Okay, we don't want your opinions, really. That's what it comes down to. Don't stay at the microphone. Do ask questions, but keep them short. You can direct them to one person, or it kind of automatically goes to all of them, either there's two or there's five. So choose. They have 2 minutes to reply. So let's go ahead. Are there any questions from the floor? Thank you.
I'll just ask from here. When I was in school, 270 kids in elementary school, 180 in the high school. Open question, what's your plan to get our numbers back up to sustainable levels?
Who's that addressed to? Yeah.
That is a tough ask. Canada's population is declining. Perhaps, Joseph, the right question to ask is the question that's been asked by the high school here. How do we do a great job with what we have? That being said, I think our ambitions should be super high. I think we should try and grow our community. It would be awesome. We should set a goal. We should think about how many kids do we want in this school? How many families do we need to move here, and aim for it? One of the opportunities that I see is to the east. Alberta has a huge employment problem. That is, many places don't offer a great quality of life, but offer work. I think we need to be wooing Albertan companies to move to Valemount. Recently, the Valemount Community Forest, one of the organizations that we support as council, but this is not the village proper, has been working on acquiring industrial land to try to create those job opportunities. I think that if we can create job opportunities, people will come. I think we'll have the opposite problem. I think we currently have the opposite problem of Alberta. Alberta has lots of workers. What we have here is people who want to live here and are looking for work. So when we connect with, there it is, I'm looking for is that the second minute or perfect. Suffice it to say, there's an opportunity there, I think. And it'll be interesting for the village to be, or the community forest to be in the driver's seat to offer that industrial land. That's a new opportunity that's just coming online. So regardless of who's elected tonight, the Valemount Community Forest will persist and they'll continue doing their good work. So I think as a community, we can feel really happy of that, the work that they've been doing. Did I answer your question? Thank you.
Madam Chairman, my name is Pat Bennett, and we have VCTV up here, and they are filming the events this evening. And if you want to ask a question, you need to go to the mic and ask it so that he can record it. Otherwise, he can't hear what is being asked. So if you could be polite enough to do that, I would appreciate it. I have a question for both of the mayors. I would like to know what you see, where you see Valemount going in the next 4 years.
Could you hold that question while Jeanette answers
Sure.
the last question?
Sure, that's fine.
One thing that we had years ago was an economic development committee. And I should like to see an economic development cross-sectoral membership restored. There is a very grave need right now to ensure that economic development is recovered. And I believe that we need to ensure that private investors are welcome to Valemount and area and encourage them to develop here. And also to ensure that opportunities for diversification are seized when they arise and that they are not turned away. Now, I would support any economic development that is good for the people of Valemount. Thank you.
Was that just for the mayoral candidate? No.
Question.
It was open. It's a great question. I don't think there's one clear and concise answer for that. I think council needs to continue to harness the power of Highway 5 and Highway 16. We're not in the middle of nowhere, we're in the middle of everywhere. We have copious representation at the federal and provincial levels. We are seriously involved with the CBT and the NDIT. If we can continue to market Valemount as a good, clear, clean place to live, wholesome, I believe that people will make the right decision, and with good economic development plans, people will move here and schools will be revitalized. Thank you.
Hello. Some of you may have read the newspapers this week. I have a bit of a background in retail myself, and I would like to find new ways of working with the Chamber of Commerce, indeed an expanded local Chamber of Commerce and Downtown Business Association, because we have a little bit of a way to go. I know our retailers are doing a great job, an excellent job, and in fact, it's been getting better since I arrived here. But there are some things that we can do, such as maintaining good, clean washrooms at the front at the A&W. I should have said at the road frontage. Always have the customer as center of attention. When you walk into a store, rather than the employees talking between themselves about non-essential things, being there and looking proud and eager to serve the customer makes a good show. So I'd just like to say that, and to our retailers to continue on with the good work that you're doing, because it does make an impression. And I know it's a difficult thing to do, to attract and fill our schools again, but it's just one of the little things that I think we could pay a little bit more attention to as store owners. Thank you.
Hi, Joe. It's a good question as well, and I think it will take a long time to get the numbers anywhere near what you experienced growing up. However, I do see that our town is going in that direction. I've seen a lot of young families moving to Valemount for the lifestyle. They've chosen to live here. They know there's challenges living here, but they've made that choice. And one of the things I'm working very hard at in my recent new job is making sure and ensuring that there's enough licensed childcare available for people wishing to relocate here, because there's going to be those that have children that aren't of school age yet and those that do. And I know from my experience, we have 16 kids currently enrolled in preschool and kinder readiness. Those kids are going to be moving into the elementary. I know it doesn't sound like lots, but those kids are going to keep moving in. And we have lots of young kids that are keep coming in and coming in. We have a waiting list. So like I say, it's going to take time, but I'm seeing that we are getting there, and it's coming, and I've seen these young families come that really want to be here, and they are choosing to be here. Some of them, their spouses are working away so that the wife and family can be here for the lifestyle, and I'd like to see that we can be able to keep them from working away and bringing them back. And I think a lot of what we are working on, what some of our new candidates are talking about, is just to continue growing our community and our economic development and bringing those families here. Thank you.
Councillor Salt's correct. They are coming. I work at the library, and we sign the new kids up all the time. I know it seems slow, but we've had like 10 in the last week. So the kids are coming.
If Glacier Mountain development comes to fruition, I don't think we'll have too much of a concern to bring our numbers up to any kind of sustainability. If what it's supposed to do is anything equal to what it's being advertised to do, look at Whistler from what it was when I was in my 20s and look at what it is today. Last month we were there, and $35 a night for parking.
Thank you, Mr. Reimer. That's a good point. But I would like to say, the point about Valemount Glacier Destinations helping us get us to where we want to go, that's true. But since we were in office, Council really looked at those communities that went through these resort projects and found that there was a tremendous downward pressure on the housing market. In many of these communities, housing markets skyrocketed. People who wanted to be in the community found themselves priced out. I'm not saying that Valemount Glacier Destinations is going to lead to that. I just want to point out that it's something that we need to manage. It's something that we need to keep track on. And it's something that Council has been doing a good job in, liaising with communities like Kimberley, Golden, Revelstoke, Fernie, who've gone through similar developments. One great thing about Whistler, a lot of people have had a very negative experience of Whistler. Perhaps they were there 20 years ago, and we're one of these people that were priced out. Whistler has been very proactive in terms of trying to make sure that there's accommodation for people who work in the community, both for rent, so affordable housing, that's all right, but also for purchase, so that people who are working there, even if they're working what we might say tourism jobs, are actually able to live. We don't want to be a community that goes through that. We don't want to go through that contraction. When we spoke with other communities, they said right out of the gate, before this thing happens, develop a housing authority and make sure, thank you.
Sorry to do this. The candidates will be available. Oh, go on, it's up there. The candidates will be available out in the foyer afterwards. So, Andrew, you get a chance to speak personally with people. Did I see any more questions? Did I see? Pat. Could you go to the microphone, please, Pat?
My question was, where do they see Valemount going in the next 4 years?
Thank you. Who's that addressed to?
The mayors. The mayors.
The mayors.
I see a lot of work ahead. I see a bright future ahead with the Valemount Community Forest. I know that they have been busy planning diversification. They have plans in place, and it is definitely their prerogative to, it is still in camera, and it is their prerogative to release the official decision when it's completed, I guess. And I see the president here. While I'm up here and talking about the Valemount Community Forest, I should just like to say how very proud I am of the president, the board, and the managers that they have had now too, for the successful achievements of their enterprise. They have done us very well. I understand that the generated revenue is annually approximately $7 million, and that they have created 35 employment jobs, and they expect to do a lot better. So that is just one element. I also see there is another proposed project. Again, it's not my role at this point to announce it. It will probably be done within the next week or so. But I see us moving ahead. What's important is to create a proper environment for businesses to want to come here. Thanks.
This is a bit of a tricky one. Where do I see Valemount in 4 years? What I want to do is talk about a vision without making a campaign promise. I see infill on Fifth Avenue. I see somebody taking over the Shop Easy building. I see more young entrepreneurs. I see existing businesses thriving. I see Valemount coming together. I see your friendly faces. I see us getting together as a community. I think, as a council for this next term over the next 4 years, I think one of the things we need to stop being just taking for granted and start playing a role is when people get the chance to meet each other and communicate with each other and rely on each other and develop relationships, that builds community. And that's why we like this place. And I think we may have unwittingly, as council, through some of our decisions, actually been working against this. And it's not that we didn't get there in a justified way. I'm talking a little bit here about charging for use of the community hall. Some people have said that community hall isn't used very much. And you know what? I think we need to make it a priority that our community spaces are used. It strikes me now, but it's a sort of a new understanding. I think if we want to stay tight as a community, even in the face of lots of new people coming here, we need to create the circumstances for us to connect with them. I think what you all have been doing by being so positive and shopping locally and being present in the community has been working amazingly well. The way that Valemount has always taken care of itself, taken care of the youth, it just seems to me that after getting over, I think, mourning for the loss of the mill, I think we're finding again who we are as a community, and I think it's really amazing. And that's not much to do with council, that's to do with you.
Were there any more questions? Tom.
My name is Tom Jamin. It's a question to the two mayoral candidates. Just a simple question of what is your position on the addition to the library in its present location? Thank you.
I went first the last time. Okay, you go first.
Give me my sheet back so I can give it to you again.
When we were elected in 2001, or 2011, 14 years ago, when we were elected in 2011, we had a very clear message from the community, and that is pay attention to our economy, cultivate our economy. The wheels are coming off the bus. And as we get our feet under ourselves, I think we can consider other projects, like expanding the library. One of the questions that I had for the library, I'll just be very honest, is by quadrupling the floor space, it creates new expenses. I want to be honest about that as a community, we have a lot of shared public spaces. You would be surprised to know the amount that the village itself pays for propane for heating all of our buildings. It is a tax liability. I know that the expansion of the library is an awesome thing. I would love to be able to, we have a library board, a library worker here. We should give her a kick at the can. But one of the things that I see is as we build new public spaces, we need to make sure that they don't use tax money. They don't use so much tax money to maintain. We got to stop. A lot of I want people to buy local and stimulate the local economy. Well, when we're buying propane for all of our buildings, or in the case of the library currently, electricity, that's not supporting the local economy. So let's get smart. Let's have a proposal that uses less. Let's have a better plan that uses less and is super respectful of the, but I will say this. Right now, the library is too small for workers and we need to respect them. They do an awesome job. It's a vital part of the community. And I know those two don't go together, but that's sometimes what being in governance is about.
Thank you. I feel that a library is one of the most important facilities that a municipality can have. I don't know what the numbers are. I admire the building that's there. I believe it was opened in around 1989. Bruce Strachan was our MLA at the time. And I should like to know what a cost would be, exactly what square footage is required, and to see what kind of potential grants could be available to before any tax money, property tax revenue is committed to it. I should like to know what it would cost and investigate all feasible grant availabilities.
Thank you. We have another question from the floor.
Okay, affordable housing's already been mentioned, and shopping locally has already been mentioned, but one word, what is the most important thing to not only continue to support our businesses locally, but also bring them in? The most important, other than affordable housing.
One word? Yeah, okay. Let's go for one word.
Anyone. Yeah, open.
What is the most important?
What is the most important, other than affordable housing and shopping locally, to keep our businesses going?
Okay. Okay, you understand? Yeah. One word.
Hope.
I don't think you can cap that. We've come to the end of the evening. It's a couple of minutes before 9, and I'd like to leave time to give the candidates just one last sentence each. And it's actually a written question as well, which maybe they could answer in their summary. What skills do you bring to this important role that are key to success? Could we start, please, with piece of paper? Please, with Owen and Mr. Torgerson. I got it right.
Great question. I'll answer it in my closing remarks. I would like to first off thank my fellow candidates for putting their name forward. Congratulations. It's a big opportunity and a big challenge. Thank you to the Valemount Chamber of Commerce and Toastmasters for organizing this venue. Thank you, Madam Moderator, for helping to keep us in line. I'd like to thank those who signed my nomination papers, and your confidence truly inspires me. I'd like to thank my family for always being behind me, my partner Corey, knowing the sacrifices that will be coming, for supporting me throughout. I truly love you. To all of you who chose to hear and to be heard, and those who could not be here, thank you to VCTV for enabling this forum to be broadcasted into our homes. We need to turn challenges into opportunities. On November 15th, in advance polls on November 5th, choose to exercise your right to vote, and choose who you, the awesome people of Valemount, want their council, and who on that council to represent you. The skills that I bring already, red light, no, that's good.
One last word. Major skill. One word.
Love.
I like it. Can we please hear from... Can't do this is reverse order. That's nearly too much for me. Sandy, thank you for the help.
I think the biggest skill is a caring and listening and empathetic ear, and being approachable. I wish to thank the Valemount Area Chamber of Commerce and Toastmasters Valemount for arranging and hosting this All Candidates Forum. And I wish all of my fellow candidates best of luck in obtaining their desired seats. And most importantly, I wish to thank all of you for coming out tonight and taking the time to listen to each and every one of us. I encourage all eligible electors, and thank you in advance for ensuring to get out and vote on Wednesday, November, I think it's 5th, for the advance voting, and Saturday, November 15th for general voting, and for your time and consideration of me, Sandy Salt, for councillor. Thank you.
And next to speak will be Peter Reimer.
Thank you, Madam Moderator, for giving us a good evening. And a little story about 26 years ago when we moved here. I wanted to expand the insurance companies that I was dealing with. And I invited one of the underwriters from one of the insurance companies to come up to Valemount. He came up. He happened to come into my office just after 12 o'clock. I only had one staff person. They had left for lunch. He walks into my office and comes to me and says, "Where are the troops?" I said, "That's it. What you see is what you get." My one staff person has gone for lunch, and I'm the other one that's left. These are the troops. Running a small business in a small community is very hard, difficult, and the perseverance that I've had over the last 26 years, I'll just bring it to council and just keep on persevering and make Valemount better.
Peter Fox.
Okay, thank you. Everyone, I'd just like to close then by saying thank you to VCTV. It's so important. You really put Valemount on the map. And this election is an affirmation of our democracy, no doubt, as well as a personal affirmation and confidence boost for me tonight to be here. I have some research skills, duties as a ranger, which were various, working with a team of people, organizing, preparing for people to arrive at the park. I'd like to reinstate my love of this community, and my presence at the forum tonight is affirmation of desire to serve. And please get out and vote. Thank you.
And Holly Blanchette again.
So thank you, everybody. I won't go through the list. Everyone's done it. I just want to say my skills, I'm involved in this community 100%. I work, live, and shop here. And I did beat Councillor Salt. I've got 17 committees. Sorry. So I truly believe that the direction our valley will take depends on all of us working together. So it's time for all of us to get together, roll up our sleeves, and get her done. Thanks.
I now call upon Jeanette Townsend to make her final remarks.
Thank you. And Hope, could I give 2 words?
Yep.
Bright future. Okay? All right. So I should once again like to thank the Madam Moderator and the Chamber of Commerce and everyone for coming out this evening. With respect to skills, my skills are organizational, and I have a proven track record of accountability, effective resource management, and fiscal responsibility. And the Columbia Basin Trust was my own personal initiative. I've got files at home with records that date back to February of 1991. And the Valemount Community Forest was also a personal initiative that dates back to 1998. And they are both very successful. I know that the Columbia Basin Trust, we have received over 2.5 million to date for community initiatives, and there were large amounts of grants made available apart from the Community Initiatives Program. And there will be a lot more. A former working group, working group of former board members has been established because our WISE investments next year will give about $33 million to distribute and 55 the following year. So my skills are a proven track record. Thank you.
And lastly, His Worship the Mayor.
I was told I had 5 minutes to close, but I see that's not the case. Regardless of our success on our economic development super projects, we know now, 8 years after the mill closed, that we are a resilient community. And we can't be unmoored and we won't be blown away. The biggest economic storms can't hurt us. What we have yet to discover is that we are the economic recovery that we're looking for. You can't go wrong tonight here, folks. You've got a bevy of experience. You've got so many great candidates. Thank you all for coming. November 15th is voting day. Exercise your vote.
Cam would, oops, I forgot. Cam would like to speak to you.
Hello voters, I'm just here to say a couple words on behalf of the Village of Valemount. I am the Deputy Chief Elections Officer and Ann Yansu is our Chief Elections Officer. It's our responsibility to make sure that we conduct this election in accordance with provincial legislation. So I just wanted to remind you that when you show up on voting day, have 2 pieces of ID. We have details about what pieces of ID will be accepted, so feel free to ask us outside if you need some clarification on what ID we can take. You also need to prove residency within the village, so make sure that you are able to do that. If you're within the Village of Valemount, you may know that we are using an electronic voting machine this year. Ballots will look a little bit different, and if you had the opportunity to fill in a test ballot, you participated in a mock election that we conducted tonight, so I'm going to read the results from that real quick. We had 40 ballots that we brought here tonight. 3 of them were spoiled, and there were 37 eligible votes, so I will tell you who won. In the best automobile manufacturer category, we have Ford in first, tied with General Motors with 8 votes. We've got BMW coming in third. Best vocal artist, we've got Elvis in first with 14 votes. We've got Buddy Holly coming in second, and a tie for third place between Frank Sinatra and Janis Joplin. And in the favorite ice cream category, we've got chocolate with 15 and vanilla with 13. Yep. And finally, we had 2 propositions at the end. These are not binding referenda, but 23 people were in favor of having a 3-day weekend. And surprisingly, 18 people voted no, we should not get raises every 6 months, which beat 16 votes for yes. So we're glad that we could demonstrate the electronic voting machine for you tonight. Feel free to be in touch if you have any questions. Advanced voting day, November 5th, Wednesday, next Wednesday, at the council chambers at the village office, 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. General voting day, Saturday, November 15th, 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. at the community hall. Thanks.
I really wonder about you lot. Some of those results. I must say thank you to everyone. We're just winding up now. Thank you to the candidates. Thank you to the audience. The candidates have spoken and with clarity and some passion, and I can only admire them for all their work and courage. The candidates will be in the foyer after the meeting if you want to ask any more questions or further discussions. I would like to take this opportunity to thank candidates for putting their names forward, the Chamber of Commerce for hosting the event, Toastmasters for the timing and lighting system, and the Village of Valemount and the High School for the use of the theatre. We hope this forum has provided you with the opportunity to learn more about each candidate so you can make an informed decision when you vote on November the 15th. Please note that general voting day is Saturday, November the 15th, from 8 to 8 p.m. in the community hall, and advanced voting will take place in the Mayoral office? Council chambers?
No, in the mayor's office.
Well, it's only a machine. 8 to 8 p.m. You must be able to prove, as Cam just said, you need identity with you. Thank you, everyone. Good night.